What is up, heroes? It's Night Zero, and welcome back to the Let's Play 999 Blind. In the last episode, we witnessed quite the showdown between Snake and Ace that left, and, well, let's just say that through the fire and flames, neither of them carried on. That was really, really bad. But anyways, now we're desperately hunting for Santa in June, and apparently we made our way to the chapel expecting nothing but something on the red carpet in the center of the room. What's going on? Oh god, that music. June! No, codenames didn't matter any longer. She was Akane. Akane! Junpei cried her name and ran. She dead? Or is she just sick and passed out or what? Like lightning, he ran across the room toward her. Akane! He stumbled to a stop. Is that blood or a shadow? I'm gonna say a shadow. Yeah. As he looked down at her body, lying so still on the floor, he felt the icy grip of fear upon his heart. She was still. So very still. No. No, it can't be. It's impossible. Slowly, Junpei bent down toward her. His hands shook, and he felt very cold and very hot at the same time. He forced himself to look. Her back was moving. Slowly it rose and fell. She's breathing. Relief washed over him. Akane! Junpei reached down and gently, very gently lifted her up. Akane! Akane, are you alright? Junpei-kun. Uh-oh, she doesn't look so good. Oh no, this music! We're about to get flashback! Back to the childhood! Her face was pale and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Why does she have this illness? Trembling, Junpei wrapped his arm around her back. And where is Santa? She was cold, very cold. Junpei tried to convince himself that it was only his imagination. But she felt as though she were fading away. He could feel his heart pounding frantically in his chest. Akane. Oh man, Akane. What the heck happened to you? Great time for the dogs to interrupt. You feel... Junpei-kun, I'm sorry. What is going on with June? Her voice was very faint. I might not make it. Literally in the course of like 5 hours. She's gone from having a fever to dying. There is not a lot that I can think of that would happen in a healthy, presumably high school girl. That would lead to that. Fatal of a sickness. No way. No way am I gonna let you die. I'm gonna save you, I promise. Thank you, Junpei-kun. Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Junpei-kun. Really happy. Don't give me that. I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. This reminds me of that other conversation we had in the other timeline. You've just gotta hang on, alright, Akane? Junpei-kun, did you know? Yep. You meant a lot to me when we were kids. I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. I'm sorry, Akane. You're just talking really slowly right now, and we've all heard this before. So, really long time. Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame. He looked down at Akane. Game over. Uh-oh. There was a crack of static from above his head, and a voice spoke. 0.
どこに隠れてやがる
You baka, where are you hiding? Junpei frantically scanned the ceiling for the source of the voice. I am right here. I've always been close to you. Is it gonna reveal that Santa, who has, run away / is now missing, is actually Zero? Is that what we're about to find? Or is it going to be that June is? What the heck are you talking about? No matter, I will tell you again. Actually, I'm Santa. Game over. This game has ended. No, it hasn't. I'm not gonna let it end yet. I'm gonna get out of here with Akane. You can't. That is impossible. Why? Because you chose the wrong path. The wrong path? That is correct. Your path... Whoa. Your path was inevitable, however. Admit defeat. Where there is shadow, there is light. Where there is the absence of light, there is no shadow. So it goes. Interesting. What are you talking about? It matters not. The loser has been decided. The loser? Who's the winner? Zero? I told you I'm not gonna lose. No, you misunderstand. You haven't lost. Who? Huh? Who are the losers then? I have lost. I feel like this means... I feel like he's talking about... I think we're talking about two different games, right? Junpei is thinking of escaping alive. And I think Zero is talking about not being killed by the other people on the ship. And so... I think that's what Zero is referring to here. Zero is somebody that is on this ship and has lost because the people here have not made it out. And so Zero as well will not make it out alive. Or, Zero just had a bet with his friends that people would make it out alive and has lost the bet. Maybe it's some other game I'm not thinking of. But that's what comes to mind. Is that this wasn't a game about the people participating, but something Zero was trying to demonstrate and failed to do so. What? Junpei didn't have time to ponder what that meant before. In comes the water. He heard the door slam shut behind him. He spun around. There was no one there. Was it Zero? Akane, wait here. I'll be right back, I promise. Uh-oh. She managed a single nod. Junpei laid her back down gently and leapt for the door, but it's locked. It's open. He yanked it open and shot outside. No one. The hall was empty. There was nothing moving anywhere. Darn it, where are you? It doesn't matter. I need to get Akane out first. He didn't want to leave Akane alone any longer than he had to, so Junpei turned around and headed back to the chapel. What?
Akane?
Akane? Huh? She's gone. What? How is she gone? Huh? Is she Zero? Is that what we're getting at here? That Akane tried to bait Junpei into choosing her over living or something like that? I don't know. She wasn't there. She wasn't anywhere. She'd been lying there on the floor just moments before. And now she was gone. Oh God. No, no.
一体どこに
Where is she?
あかね
Akane. Akane.
あかね
Akane.
あかね
His cry split the heavens themselves. He screamed until his voice gave out. Then he screamed some more. But there was nothing. No answer. His voice faded away, and all that remained was cold, unfeeling silence. That was when he noticed it. The water. A strange smell, one he'd smelled before. Wait, this is... Huh?
白い煙の
White smoke? 9 seconds later, Junpei's mind winked out. I mean, we obviously just got a bad end. That's what this music means. Huh? What? So... I'm so confused. It makes it seem like June is 0. Or is Santa 0? Darn it. Where did June's body go? It makes me think that June is 0. 0 saying, I've always been right by your side, etc. And then, he turns around. But how can I have closed the door, obviously, and then, disappear, and then the smoke comes out? Like, obviously 0 was right there, ready for him. We don't know where Santa was. We don't know, potentially someone else is on the ship. We don't know where they are. It makes it seem like Akane is 0, but man, it's so confusing. And now there are the credits. So inevitably everybody dies in this ending because they all drown, I'd imagine. But again, we don't know that. We didn't see them drown, right? 0 said they lost. Was his threat empty? Did he not actually drown everyone? The end, or is it? Did he not actually drown everyone? Darn. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a line. April 4th, 1912. Cobain is a dead body. Who do you think did it? Obviously a lot going on here. Now it is time. Let our game begin. So, yeah, we'll save. So we got that ending, which is the ending with the safe and the note. We can access... Oh man. Now that we've got this... Oh, this ending is the key for this ending. So apparently we need to choose differently. Basically everything we just experienced with that ending, there was a different path we should have chosen, right? That's, I think, what 0 was alluding to. And it looks like we have that ability now. I'm still trying to piece it together myself, who 0 is, but I can't say with certainty. I'm sure that if you said, oh, this person is 0, and here's why, and why. Yes, there are reasons supporting why a couple people, in my opinion, could potentially be 0. But I'm not seeing why it has to be one person and not the other people, And maybe that's, supposed to be the point, right? Maybe you're supposed to go into this final ending with inclinations and it'll slowly be revealed, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be completely solvable with 100% certainty prior to the final reveal. But what an interesting route. That was an excellent ending. I am so confused by what is going on with June and this fever. Where was Santa at the end there? Where did he disappear to? Why were both Santa and June in the chapel? Right? Why were they there? We never found where Santa went. All I can think of is if there was an actual Zero bracelet, not one that's programmed to be the number 6, but an actual Zero bracelet that Santa, who maybe is Zero, has, and then, used... Well, no, because then he'd have to take June with him through the door. I don't know, but somebody had to have rolled that gas in there. We saw Snake and Ace get incinerated, so it's not either of them. It's presumably not Seven. It's presumably not Lotus. It's presumably not Clover, because she was dead at that point. It's not Junpei. I mean, I guess it could theoretically be Seven or Lotus, because we didn't see them die. But I feel like it's got to be June or Santa at this point. Or there's another person, playing a role in the game, right? That we just haven't been exposed to yet. That is very possible. I think we're supposed to infer that Zero is one of the players of the Nonori game. But clearly the person setting things up wanted to get back at Ace, wanted to use Snake potentially to get back at Ace and potentially frame, Snake for setting things up or something like that. Would June have a reason to do that? Santa would, right? Santa was in the experiment before. So it makes me think that because Santa was missing there at the end, and we presumably believe June was as sick as she appeared, it seems like Santa's the only unaccounted person that would actually be Zero, and has a bit of the history to do so. That's what I'm thinking off the top of my head, but I can't say that with 100% certainty. I think we can rule out all the people that are dead in that particular ending. I think that's something we can say with certainty. Right? There were people who died, and then Zero was still alive at this ending. So we know it's not the people that were dead at that point in time. Obviously, there's always they could pull a Snake and not actually be dead or something like that. But I don't think that's the case, nor is that something I want to spend the energy really taking, or spend the energy and time considering. I don't think we're expected to believe it could be Seven or Lotus, because unless they're working together, they would hold each other accountable. Neither could escape from the other alone. I mean, technically it could happen if one of them were Zero and really wanted to, right? They could. So I can't say, again, I can't rule them out with 100% certainty, right? Seven could just turn and, knock out Lotus and then go do his Zero thing for Santa, June, and Junpei, who are, left in the ship, right? I wouldn't think it's either of them, Lotus or Seven, that is. But there's nothing... I can't 100% rule that out, right? I wouldn't consider it likely, though. I really do think it's Santa. That seems like the most reasonable, but I can't say with 100% certainty. Regardless, we're still not super far into the episode, so I guess what we can do is go all the way back and decide what route we want to take. I'm trying to remember exactly what route we took the first time around to get to this ending. I find it really funny, actually, that we potentially took the route to the good ending, or the final ending, and we got that one first. I think that's actually really funny. The question is, do I have to go along this path and get all these white keys unlocked, and then this before, unlocking this final thing? Maybe. I think this will be the particular ending. Well, the 3 left behind. I'm curious. Because it just kind of paused. It's not like we got to a bad ending that definitively closed things up. It just stopped. So I think now we'll be back at that position, and we'll have the ability to choose a path that's good, or going to lead to a good ending. So let's see what happens when we try to resume or pick up here. Are we allowed to? We are. And we'll switch back to this screen. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. So what I think is going to be the key difference here is rather than Ace end up with the gun and pull Lotus behind, etc., and Ace being the one who kills Clover, instead, this time around, Snake potentially doesn't find those things out, / doesn't have access to the knife, and so Clover survives. And finding Snake and having both Snake and Clover available is going to be incredibly useful. So I think that's why this route is on a better go than before. And I think if this is the true ending, having Santa, potentially the one we think is Zero, as the villain trying to win would make a lot more sense. So let's see what's going on here. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the 2 9 doors. I'm trying to think. We went, in this timeline, we went to the captain's quarters, right? And we had that moment with Clover. So she believes Snake is alive. And we also, did we go to the operating room, the surgical theater in this one? I think we did. Let's see. This ended when we were like zooming in on the coffin. So we'll keep going through this text for the sake of refreshing our memories. But he stood in front of it and looked at the red. It read engaged. And so Santa and June are behind there, right? I'm trying to think what happened to... I think Ace and Lotus are behind there as well. Did all 4 of them go? Is that what happened? I think that's what happened. I don't remember, darn it. But I don't remember my first time around anybody dying. Regardless, he moved to the smaller door. And eventually we're going to hear the pounding. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. 5, 4, 7, etc. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it, unless a Snake reveals himself. Junpei touched the surface of the door.
Murasaki.
June. He thought about June, about Akane Kurashiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him. He pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed. So, what do you want to do, Junpei? What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do? 7 opened his mouth to respond when... Thud, thud, thud. Here we go, guys. It should be Snake again. A noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something vigorously. It wasn't mechanical. It was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another. What the heck is that? Shh. Quiet. It's so nice having you alive, Clover. Honestly, all of these characters have grown on me quite a bit since the very beginning. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. Take this time to get some water. The 3 of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where? Where is it coming from? Oh, do we have to do something different along the way here to have Junpei figure out that he's got the specific numbers to open the code or something? Could it be? We're about to find out in a moment. Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin. I think we'll be all right. We'll see. Very soon. You're right. Let's open it. But how? What are those muscles for? For show? You're telling me to force it open? Just shut up and try. Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find and pulled with all their strength. Darn it. Man, won't even budge. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it.
ぱこいつか。
Not another
み
one.
たいだな。
Yeah, looks like
暗
it.
証番号を入力しないと開かない。そういうこと？
Do you think we have to put in the right password or it won't
だと
open?
思う。
I think so. Oh, you know what? You know what? Is 999... Is this game trying to reinforce the idea of the morphogenetic field by having us go through these other timelines and then play through the same sequence again with the knowledge and experiences of other people that have done it before, influencing our go through it again? Is this like some super meta way of saying like, oh, you know how like they tried the experiment and then with the rats, for example, and then a future group did it, but they did it, you know, they found out how to do it much more easily. I feel like that's kind of an undertone of this whole game, is that we try these different routes, we find out all this information, we do things, and so then we come back to the same timeline, the same puzzle, the same problem, but we have more information and go about it differently, figure it out more quickly, and are thus able to have more positive results. So even if like maybe they're not proving it in game, they're having the player enact the idea that's been thrown out there throughout this entire game. Interesting. I feel like that's an undertone. Like thematically something integral to this game. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder.
中に誰がいるのかわからないが、とにかく早く出してやらないと。
Whatever's inside this thing wants out. And
言
now,
っても
I know that.
どうすりゃいいんだが。
But how?
暗証番号がわからない限り、どうしようもない。
Without a passcode, I don't think there's much we can do. They couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be. I think if we do need a passcode, and I do need to do something differently before getting here in order to have the passcode, I would need to have received a hint, right? I need to get a hint about the bracelets, that the same hint that Clover got. And I feel like that would require figuring out how Clover got that hint in the first place, so that once I have that hint, I can get the safe and figure out that number, right?
どこかにヒントがあるんじゃないの？
Isn't there a hint somewhere?
探してみよ
Well, let's look for one. So now we look. Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and Seven investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing. There's nothing
う。
here.
そう簡単にはいかないが。
Not making this easy, are they? The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. I'm so curious. Because, yeah, I do feel like I'm going to have to do it differently. What's the
どうす
passcode?
ればいい？どう
What am
す
I
れば
supposed
わ
to
かる？
do? How can we figure it out?
この番号を知るためには、
I need
一体どうすれば？
something. Oh god, we're going to get the same ending. We are going to get the same ending. I do need to do events differently up till here. The world blinked. Suddenly, there was a voice inside of Junpei's head. It's the morphogenetic field, guys! It's the morphogenetic field! Truth had gone, and truth had gone. Ah, now truth is asleep in the darkness of the sinister hand. It is, guys, it is! I called it literally seconds before it became a thing. The other timeline Junpei, the information he learned, is being transmitted to this timeline / alternate Junpei's mind through the morphogenetic field in a time of intense danger. It's happening.
なんだ今の声は？
You've got to be kidding me. What the heck was that? The voice. At least I feel finally like it's relevant to the story and the characters. Junpei was utterly and completely baffled.
なんだ
Huh? What?
どうしたの？
What's up? Seven and Clover ran over to him, but Junpei didn't know what to tell them. If he told them he'd heard a voice, they'd laugh, or worse, think he was going insane. So all he said was,
なんでもない。
"Oh, nothing." He cleared his throat a little too loud and looked pointedly down at his bracelet. You've got to be kidding me. I still find it hilarious that he's able to take that code, that line, you know, truth had gone, and truth had gone. What is it? Truth is asleep in dark sinister hand, or in the dark of the sinister hand or something like that, I still find it pretty ridiculous to take that and translate it to right and left specifically on the button and do all that so quickly at the very least. I'm not really buying it, but we'll go with it. There were a pair of small buttons protruding from either side of it. Junpei, he pressed the buttons. It was truth had gone, truth had gone, truth had gone. So it was right, left, right, left, right, left. That was it. Here we go, guys. 14388343421 or 4321. 8 numbers blinked on and then off on the bracelet display. Junpei checked one last time. 1438884. Oh, I was wrong about it being palindromic before. Although I feel like I remember it differently. Regardless, 143833421. Huh? Yeah.
なんだよ今の数字は。
Hey, what the heck were those numbers?
もしかしてそれって
Oh my gosh, are those? I can't even believe it, guys. The morphogenetic field. It's finally relevant, and it's so relevant in such a dire time. I'm getting a kick out of it. I'll save all my thoughts on the morphogenetic field for when the credits are finally rolling. But this is definitely a redeeming factor. Junpei didn't answer. He simply walked straight to the coffin. He knelt down in front of the keypad, running over the numbers in his head so that he wouldn't forget. 143833421. Over and over. With trembling fingers, he punched them in. 143833421. That was all of them. He punched the E button. There was a moment of complete silence. And it opens. Then there was the sound of the coffin lid unlatching. Someone sat up out of it. Here we go. No way.
なんで
Why?
どうしてお前がそんなところに
Why are you... Ah. It's not Clover saying ah. It's Clover saying Oni-chan. We all know who that is now. It's Snake.
その声は四つ葉か。心配かけてすまなかったね。
Oh, is that you, Clover? I apologize for worrying
いいで
you.
す
Snake.
お前ど
You...
うして
Why?
淳平くんに、それからセブンもいるのか。他のみんなはどうしたんだい？
And 7. Is that you? Is everyone else there as well? Just like Rip Van Winkle. Still, it was very much like Snake to simply cut to the heart of the matter and ask.
たく
Junpei and 7 shared a wry smile. Clover's eyes were filled with tears. You're back! With a cry of joy, she leapt into Snake's arms. Oh man.
おいおい、
My heart.
そんなに強く抱きしめないでくれよ。
So wonderful, so heartwarming, so precious. Gently now.
まだ体があまり言うことを聞いてくれないんだから。
My body's still a little weak.
お兄ちゃん
Oh, you're back. Clover looked like nothing so much as a lost child who had finally found her home. She cried and cried and cried. Her eyes were red, and her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating. Yeah, I feel like Zero and Junpei in the last timeline were referring to different games. So now that Junpei, or Zero, who has been watching them very closely, sees how Junpei solved this, can make the argument that in this time of dire need, he suddenly had the inspiration to do something that was very distinct and wouldn't be spontaneously thought of in such a situation had there not been direct direction to do so. And in this sense, if everyone makes it out alive, Oh. Yeah, I think Santa is Zero. Because Santa set it up so that they would need that specific code to open the coffin. And the only way they were going to get that code is if the morphogenetic field existed. And that's the whole point of the Noner game, is to prove that such a thing exists. So I do think that's why Santa is actually Zero. Because I think they could have made it through the 9 doors, right? They could have split up in such a way that everyone could have made it through, but instead Santa insisted on dragging the certain people he did, probably to set up a situation like this in particular, to really have that final moment of testing to see whether or not the morphogenetic field will pull through. Obviously that's all speculation, but I do think that's my current line of thinking. Regardless, we've got a moment. We got a brother-sister moment to appreciate here. Her eyes were red and her nose was running. She hiccuped and gasped as if she were about to begin hyperventilating. You're back. You're really here. Her voice was happy, but almost desperate, as if she feared he would disappear again if she stopped talking to him. I mean, he looks ghostly enough like he could. Tear after tremendous tear rolled its way down her face. Her small arms strained as she clutched Snake's body as tightly as she could. Perhaps she had to convince herself he was real. Perhaps she was worried he would be gone the moment she let go. Perhaps she simply didn't know what else to do. Oh, you're back.
やれ参ったな。
Come now, what's gotten into
まるで
you?
僕が死んでしまったみたいな泣き方じゃないか。
You're acting as though I've returned from the grave. Oh, Snake, you don't even
ま
know.
るでじゃないよ。本当に死んじゃったって思ったんだから。
Not as though. You did. I really thought you were dead. Huh?
バカバカバカ。お兄ちゃんのバカ。
Baka baka. Oni-chan no baka. Clover broke into sobs so great, she could no longer talk. It was a touching reunion between brother and sister. Even though Junpei knew they had little time, and every minute they waited was a minute they wasted, it felt cruel to pull them apart. Junpei and Seven sat down on one of the pews, waiting for Clover to calm down before explaining to Snake what had transpired. What's kind of interesting is that
なるほどね。
if
話は
Santa
分かったよ。
were setting up the situation as I had theorized, like a couple minutes ago, he would also be working under the assumption that this game would have been played out under like multiple timelines, and in at least one of them that code was discovered, which is a pretty bold assumption to make, especially given the morphogenetic field would be more so to, from what I've understood now or from how it's been described, to think that based on what previous people who played the nonary game discovered, that's what the inspiration would be, right? Not an alternative timeline, but literally a past event that they would be drawing inspiration from. So I feel like he would be getting, I don't know, a signal from, or, inspiration from a player in the previous nonary game, rather than a Junpei of an alternate or like parallel universe or alternate timeline, for example. That said, I don't know how the morphogenetic field works 100%. I'm just going based off what I recall from how it's been described thus far. Regardless, I believe I understand things rather well now. Thank you.
シャワー室に僕の服を着た死体が転がっていた。
In the shower room, there's a dead body wearing my clothes.
だから君たちは僕が死んだものと勘違いしてしまった。
Because of that, you
そういうこと
thought
だね。
that I was dead, correct? Yeah, and Ace is the person who killed them, and we know that now, but Ace is not in a position to, well, not in a position to be commanding or demanding how things go right now. Because he had quickly and neatly summarized the events of several hours.
ああ、
Yeah? Junpei nodded.
その後のこともおおむね了解だ。
You also discovered a corpse in the captain's quarters, and Santa turned on you here, in this
船
room.
長室の死体のこと。
Do I have it
サンタが
straight?
船長室の下に関しちゃ俺の方が驚かされたかな。
Well, the dead body in the captain's quarters is a
悪い
surprise.
な。話すタイミングがなかなか見つからなくて。
Sorry, there wasn't a good time to tell you.
いいけどよ。
Don't worry about it.
とはいえ、
Well then,
僕が意識を失っている間に何が起こったのかについては大体分かったけれど、
I've got a pretty decent idea of what happened while I was indisposed, but
誰がなぜそれを行ったのかについては依然として謎だらけだね。
it's still something of a mystery who did all this and why.
僕に見せかけたシャワー室の死体、船長室の死体、
The corpse in the shower room that looked like me, and the corpse in the captain's quarters.
一体誰が何のために そんな殺し方をしたのだろ
Why were they killed in the way they were? I'm also thinking now if, right, Santa is a previous, what's it called? Previous participant in the Nonary games, or in the Nonary game, he would want that revenge on Ace as well, not just Snake, right? Well, let's see what happens here.
心
Are
当
they
たり
going
はねえの
to
か
deduce it all now? You don't know?
う。ないよ。どうして僕に聞くんだい
No. Why would I?
シャワー室の男。面倒だから S 音でも呼ぶことにしようか。
The guy in the shower room. We don't know who he is, so let's just call him Mr.
そ
X.
の SO はニルスの服を着てたんだ。
Anyway, this Mr. X is wearing Snake's
一方
clothes.
お前は今、怪しげな儀式服のようなものを身にまとってる。
But you're wearing some kind of weird robes. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out that mystery.
誰かがニルスの服を脱がして SO に着せたことは間違いないだろう。
That means someone took your clothes and put them on Mr. X.
そいつの正体さえわかれば。
We need to figure out who that was.
いや、悪いけど、僕は何も知らないよ。
I apologize, but I have no idea who might have done this to
何し
me.
ろ目覚めたのは、ついさっきのことなんだからね。
I only just now woke
それ
up.
まで僕はずっと意識を失ってたんだ。
I was unconscious during all the events you just described
多
to me.
分その間に服を着せ替えられたんだと思う。
They must have undressed me and changed my clothes during that time.
意識を失ったのはいつ？
When were you knocked out?
みんなで手分けをして、レッドの基盤を探してた時だよ。
When we split up to look for the red, so nobody has an alibi.
場所は
Where did they get you? Do you remember?
C デッキの通路に並んだ個室の中だ。
It was a small room in one of the hallways on C
どう
deck.
して意識をなくしたんだ？
What happened? Is it the gas?
この船に拉致されてきた時と同じだよ。
Yep. The same thing that happened to every one of us when we were
突然
abducted.
部屋の中に機体の噴出する缶のようなものが投げ込まれたんだ。
A canister releasing some sort of gas was thrown into the room.
例の麻酔ガスの缶だと思う。
I believe the gas is some sort of incapacitating agent.
ってことは
Then
犯人は
that means it was
ゼロか。
zero.
みてえだな。
Looks that way, huh?
あとは僕から話せることは何もないよ。
There's nothing else I have to tell
気
you.
がついたらそこにある棺桶の中だったというわけさ。
When I woke up, I was in this coffin. Junpei crossed his arms and thought,
なぜだ
why?
ゼロはどうして SO にニルスの服を着せたりしたんだ
Why did Zero make Mr. X wear Snake's clothes?
SO をニュースに偽装することによって
How would that
一体
benefit?
ゼロにどんなメリットがあっ
How
た
would
って
that benefit Zero?
わからない
I don't get it.
わからない
What the heck does any of it mean? We gonna get another flash of inspiration?
俺があの棺の暗証番号を当てることができた理由も
And I have no idea how I got the passcode for the coffin either.
真実は去り真実は去り真実は去った
Truth had gone, truth had gone, and truth had
あ
gone.
の謎の言葉は一体何だったんだ
Where did those words come from?
どうして俺はあの言葉を聞いた後バングルの特許を押したんだ
Why did I feel compelled to push the buttons on the bracelet after hearing them? Seven had asked him about it while they waited for Clover to finish crying. He'd had no answer for him then, and he still didn't.
無意識のうちに指が勝手に動いてるそうとしか言いようがなかった
All I know is my fingers moved on their own. It was like I did it subconsciously.
わからないわからないわからない
I don't get it. What the heck does any of it mean? His mind was a maelstrom of mysteries, clues, theories, and more mysteries. He could barely think.
そういえばニルスと四つ葉が被験者となった9年前の実験のことも
And also, Snake and Clover had been subjects in a similar experiment 9 years ago.
携帯形成場にアクセスする能力は2つの要素によって増
This
強
is
さ
where
れ
it's
る
going to be
の
explained to us. The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple
一
things.
つはひらめきもう一つは危機
The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
それで
And
実際に一人亡くなっちゃったの
someone did actually die. A girl.
その子の名前は
Her name was...
この船で行われたっていう9年前の実験
I
そ
forget
の
what the
実
name
験
they
の
said
犠牲と
was.
なった一人の少女
There had been another experiment conducted on the same ship 9 years ago, and a girl had died during it.
携帯形成は仮説
I feel like from maybe that moment we had with Santa, he said something about his sister, right? maybe it was Santa's sister? Morphogenetic field theory.
2つの殺人事件
The 2 murders,
すり替えトリック
switching clothes,
ノナリーゲーム
the nonary game, and whatever strange thing was happening to Junpei himself, the maelstrom in his head spat out words and ideas that disappeared back into it almost as soon as he grasped them. But as he struggled through them, Junpei began to realize something. There was something that tied all of them together, and the point connecting the dots,
ゼロ
zero.
このゲームを画策した首謀者俺たち9人を閉じ込めた長老
He's the ringleader, the person who trapped 9 of us on this sinking ship.
ゼロは全てを知っているはずだ
Zero should know everything.
ゼロの正体を暴けば全ての謎は明らかになる
If we can uncover Zero's identity, all of our questions will be answered. Will they? Who was Zero? Junpei had the beginnings of a theory. If he could only test it. Or perhaps...
とにかく考えるのは後回しだ。それよりも早くここから出
Or
よう。
perhaps what? At any rate, we'll have plenty of time to decipher the details later. For now, it is of utmost importance that we escape.
順平君が最後に時計を見た時には4時半だったんだろ。
Junpei, it was 4:30 the last time you checked the clock, yes?
だとすると、タイムリミットまでもう1時間を切ってるかもしれない。
That means we have less than an
だ
hour.
からさ、早く。
We must hurry.
ちょっと待ってくれ。ここから出るってどうやって？
Hey, how are we gonna get out of
決ま
here?
ってるだろ。もう1枚の9の扉を開いて。
Isn't that obvious? Through the other number 9 door. And that would explain why there are 2 9 doors. Very interesting.
そうか。そうだよな。
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're
ニ
right.
ールスがいりゃ9の扉を開けるんじゃねえか。
With Snake, we can open the door.
もしかして気づいてなかったの？
Don't tell me you hadn't figured that out. As they sniped back and forth. Sniped? I feel like it... I don't know if that really works, but Junpei glanced at Snake's left hand. He was wearing a bracelet with a 2 on it.
そういう大事なことはもっと早く言えよな。
Come on, you gotta tell me these things.
いや、当然気づいてるものだとばかり
I
思ってたから。
assumed you'd figured it
いや
out.
もういい。とにかく行くぞ。
Forget it. Let's just get going. Seven stomped off toward the smaller number 9 door. Clover, Snake, and Junpei followed. Seven quickly laid his hand on the red. An asterisk appeared on the screen. Junpei and the others followed suit and laid their hands on the scanner panel. Soon, there were 4 asterisks on the screen. Seven glanced at them, then laid his hand on the lever of the red. And we're gonna find out what lies behind this number 9 door in the next episode. Unfortunately, I feel like we're just gonna pull the lever, and then there'll be a split second, and then we'll see all the numbers, or all the hands on the dead. And maybe then we'll get a little bit more of an intriguing environment behind there. But regardless, what an episode! What an episode! How important the morphogenetic field is. It's not just the player bringing information and having the characters do things differently. The characters themselves, Junpei has a revelation, an epiphany related to the morphogenetic field, probably, based on an alternate timeline. I don't know, like I said earlier, I don't know how the alternate timeline, as opposed to, past event / past experience, holds up with how they've described the morphogenetic field up until this point, but it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I'm excited to see how Junpei intends to trap Zero, because I'd imagine very much like he did with Ace in the alternate timeline, he's going to try and do something similar to figure out who's Zero's identity, or at least confirm it. And I'm thinking it's Santa, but we'll see. And I hope you guys are excited. I'm looking forward to it. I need to take a break. I need to do some work and give my voice a little bit of a rest. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to stop for the time being. But until the next episode, this is Moon Knight Zero, and this mission is complete.